The gaming industry has witnessed the evolution of horror gaming over recent years, with Resident Evil 4 being a classic in the genre that revolutionised how modern games are now played and created. In 2005, the game was released and immediately received critical acclaim, introducing players to the world of horror and survival, while also providing a new outlook to the tried and tested methods of games seen in the genre. Resident Evil 4 became so iconic that it literally became the format and blueprint for literally every over-the-shoulder action shooter that you now see today. And with its success, now years later, Capcom has decided to revisit the game to create a modern re-envisioning of what is considered by many to be one of the greatest games of all time. In addition to the recent playable Chainsaw demo, the Resident Evil 4 remake has been touted as a modern horror masterpiece. With the success of previous remakes in the series, more notably with Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2, also with Resident Evil 3, while having many questions surrounding its development but is still considered as a decent game, it would only be a matter of time before Capcom would take charge to revisit the fourth entry in the series, which has set the games industry alight with anticipation. From the early demo and information available, it is proving that Capcom has once again created something incredible that will stay in the minds of gaming fans for a very long time. Not only are Capcom able to produce some of the most iconic games of all time, they have also made a name for themselves in recent times, with producing quality remakes and re-envisionings of their greatest titles, which very few companies rarely achieve. The Resident Evil 4 remake brings back Leon S. Kennedy, one of the main survivors from Resident Evil 2, that moves away from Raccoon City. As the game starts, players find Leon on a mission to rescue the daughter of the US President, known as Ashley, and sees his mission, which takes him to a remote village in Europe where he encounters cult-like villagers who have also been infected by an unknown parasitic virus known as Las Plagas. Leon soon realises that he is in a fight for his life and must find a way to survive the horrors of this village. What Leon now understands is that his current situation is even more deadly than that of Raccoon City, as he is no longer facing off against mindless zombies. Instead, he is faced with enemies that are more self-aware, that can use weapons and attack in groups, while trying to lure him into traps. So all of his military training and acquired combat skills will be put to the test in ways he could never have imagined. The gameplay of Resident Evil 4 Remake is a combination of action and horror, with players needing to navigate Leon throughout the village, while battling infected townsfolk, chainsaw-wielding enemies and other creatures.
Are you gonna be kidding me?
Players must also strategize their moves carefully, as ammo and health items are scarce, and the enemies are also relentless. The game's mechanics have been updated to provide smoother gameplay, making it more accessible to new players while still challenging long-time fans of the series. Leon can now interact more freely in combat and react quickly to intense situations to avoid or block enemy attacks, which could be the difference between survival or instant death. One of the standout features of the Resident Evil 4 remake is the graphics and visual detail of the stunning environments and locations. The game has been given a complete visual overhaul, with stunning graphics that bring the world to life in a way that was not possible in the original game, with the lighting and the shadow effects that add to the overall atmosphere of the game, creating a sense of unease and tension that is far creepier than that of the original. The game's developers have gone above and beyond to ensure that every detail has been created to almost perfection, with the characters, models and various environmental elements. The game's sound design is also top notch, with creepy and atmospheric sounds adding to the overall horror experience. The game's soundtrack also complements the game's horror elements, adding to the overall immersive experience that provides an eeriness in lone situations but greatly intensifies during encounters that will seriously leave players on edge throughout the experience. Resident Evil 4 is more than just a visual upgrade or reimagining. It also features new content, unlockables and additional storyline elements that were not seen in the original game, with rewritten dialogue and interactive elements with familiar characters to allow the story to flow in a more cohesive style. The game's developers have also added a new look to the characters and enemies, while also providing many new challenges to overcome. With all of these characteristics, the story itself has also been expanded upon, with many new cutscenes and dialogue to add depth to the game's world. With all of that in mind, Capcom have taken care to ensure that the Resident Evil 4 remake is a faithful recreation of the original game, while still adding new elements to enhance the overall experience for the player. The game's pacing is spot on, with moments of intense action interspersed with moments of quiet tension that will leave players on edge throughout the entirety of the experience. In conclusion, the Resident Evil 4 remake is a modern horror masterpiece that cements the game's place in gaming history. It is a game that will appeal to both long-time fans of the series and new players alike, and it is a game that will appeal to fans of the series in general. With its updated graphics, sound design, visual representation and new content, the game is definitely sure to keep players engaged and immersed in the world of horror and survival that it presents. The Resident Evil 4 remake is a testament to the evolution of horror gaming and the dedication of the games industry to bring players the best possible gaming experiences. And Capcom have taken great care to update this new version of the game, but also stay true to the original game style, which will appeal to old and new players. Capcom have proven once again that they are able to produce quality, fear-inducing titles, while continuing to set the standard for the future of horror games. This latest addition to this evolving series of iconic remakes will leave fans looking for the next classic to be revisited, but which one will it be? To understand this in more detail, we will need to look over the long history of the Resident Evil series, which is why you need to check out this next video to see how Capcom have evolved with the creation of many iconic titles over the generations.